Hello, my YouTube family and friends. I pray that everyone's having a blessed day today. It is indeed a blessing to be alive, and just wanted to hop on here and share some words of encouragement that was placed in my spirit to share. Again, I pray everyone's having a very good day today. So I want to read 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter and 33rd verse. It reads, "Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners." And so I just wanted to briefly, I'm going to try not to make this video too long, but I wanted to share, this was placed in my spirit to share a few days ago, and I been procrastinating because I've been posting up other videos. But you know, when the Lord places something in our spirit, he wants us to share it because there's someone who needs to hear it. So anyway, I want to speak about, and I'm just looking back at my notes here, but I wanted to speak about a former job that I was on. I was on this job for about 3 years total. And this job was actually the job that I was on when my late husband passed away. But anyway, I shared in another video where I had went in for the interview, and you know how everything just seemed to be going really good at this job, and then it just seemed like it just took a turn for the worse. But truth was, it was already like that. You know, I just saw what I wanted to see, because you know that's what we do when we get a new job. We just, you know, we're not trying to think anything negative or bad. We just happen to have a new NEW job, and we basking in that, at least for a year or so, and then maybe we turn after that. But most of the time we just so happy we can't see anything else but good, because it's something new to us. So anyway, this particular position that I held, I was a billing specialist, and the job was very demanding. I was on the phone all day, every day, just about, and it was hard. It was a high turnover because a lot of the people that were there, or in this position that I was in, they would quit. They would go on their lunch break, wouldn't come back, wouldn't come back. And it was just a lot of, really mess going on. But it was a small company, so, they allowed these things to happen. And, they were used to these things. So it was like, normal routine stuff for them. But, coming from the outside, when you're new, you kind of open your eyes up and you're like, this seems kind of strange to me, because prior to this job, I came from a big health insurance company, so which had, thousands of people working there. So, I had, seen the big, and then going down to the smaller scale. So I'm like, this is not, some of this stuff that's going on here just doesn't sound right or look right. But nevertheless, I still, when I go into something new, I want to make a change. I want to be the change that I want to see. So again, I wasn't really focusing on what they were doing and all the bad habits and stuff I saw. I was just trying to focus on, learning the new job and the new duties, and then going from there. So anyway, and I didn't even, the Holy Spirit revealed to me after I left this job what was really going on. And so there were, to my, I was not aware at the time when I joined into this job, but there was a lot of I was around some ungodly people, and they confessed the Lord with their mouths, but their hearts were far from him. So, and what I mean by that, they would always talk about partying. They would always talk about just doing ungodly things, when they were off work, when they left work, and then also when they were at work. They would use heavy profanity. They would use the Lord's name in vain. It was just a lot of things going on. So, which further led me to believe that they were not, in the Lord like they claimed they were. People that just say they love the Lord, or, when they're in a bad situation, or they just say it just to fit in with somebody else's conversation. So that's what, I was dealing with. But anyway, getting to what I was dealing with, my stomach had started hurting really bad. And so, I couldn't understand. I was like, what's going on? Now, prior to this job, I drank a lot of coffee, and the Lord had removed the coffee from my spirit. I haven't drank coffee now in probably, I don't know, it's probably been 6, 7, 8 years now, maybe longer than that. But I just asked him to remove drinking coffee from me because it was damaging me internally. You know, I couldn't sleep. I was drinking so much of it. It was just I was addicted to it. That's what it was. But anyway, that's another video. But he removed that from me, that bad habit. And then so, you know, when I got this job, came into this job, like I said, I started having stomach issues. And now my gallbladder, it was removed in 1999. And so I was trying to kind of attributing, you know, the pain to the gallbladder removal, because he did tell me, he said, you know, the gastroenterologist, he said, in your later years, you know, when you get older, you're going to see that you can't eat what you used to eat. And, you know, you're going to have a lot of trouble with your stomach. You're going to have stomach issues because you can live without your gallbladder, yes, but it was there to serve a purpose. It was an organ that was serving a function in your body. So now that it's not there, you're going to be able to notice as you get older. And so I was like, oh, whatever, you know, because I was in my 20s then, so I didn't even care. But so anyway, he was right. He was very right, the doctor. But anyway, going back to what I was dealing with this job, I started this job in 2018. And like I said, the people seemed to be real nice and everything, but there were a lot of evil spirits that were floating around in this place. And in these people, the enemy was using these people in you know, in all kind of ways, you know. And I could, some days I would go in to the job, and I'm just giving you a backstory so I can get to what was going on with me. But some days I would go in and I'd just be so happy, and, you know, which I was happy. I wasn't faking or pretending, but I'd just be so happy. You know, my spirit was so high. And even though I had my issues at home, dealing with my, you know, family issues or whatever was going on, but I said, this is my job. I love talking to people on the phone and helping them with their bill. And I would just go in with just a high spirit. And then, you know, I could just feel the tension when I would walk into the room, because we were in the room. It was like 4 or 5 of us in one room. It was a real small company, and they were trying to save money and save space and everything. So all of us were all together in one room. So if somebody was talking about something, everybody in the room, you know, knew what they were talking about. You know, they didn't try to be, you know, quiet about it. It was just you know, that's just how it was. And I didn't really care for that. There was really no privacy there. But anyway, that was okay. I dealt with it. But anyway, I would go in there in the morning, and you could just feel the tension, you know. And it's like, you know, the enemy was using them to some mornings come against me, because they wouldn't say anything to me, because I believe that they liked me as a person. But then when they later found out who I stood for, which was Christ, that's when the issue started. And the attack started. And so I didn't even realize I was being attacked. I was actually being attacked silently instead of publicly. You know, yeah, I was being attacked, you know, and I wasn't even aware of it, you know, because my mind wasn't on that. My mind was on working and doing what I was supposed to do and going home. But I was being attacked. You know, the enemy was attacking me, and I wasn't even aware what was going on, like, with me, you know, things that were coming against me on this job. You know, I just, you know, counted them up as, you know, that's just something, you know, but it was tied together with attacks, evil attacks. And so anyway, again, I would go in there and they would be talking about something, and sometimes they would stop talking about it when I entered the room, or, you know, a lot of times what they were talking about, what they did with somebody in the bed the night before, and just, you know, a lot of inappropriate stuff, you know. And that stuff made me uncomfortable, that kind of talk, because that's not how I was raised. You know, you don't do that at work. You're supposed to be at work to work. But that's just what it was. They wasn't there to work. They were there to try to make friends, to get in each other's business, you know, to be messy. You know, it's just a lot of that going on. And I just did not, my spirit was really, really, you know, fighting against that, because I don't like, you know, conflict. And I'll deal with it, but I don't care, you know, to be in the midst of it. And, you know, that's just how the Lord has made me. But anyway, it's just, you know, just different conversations. And then sometimes they would say, well, what do you think about this or whatever? And, you know, of course, I'll give my perspective about it. And then you could tell they'll shut it down and start talking about something else. So I could tell they didn't really like what I had to say. But it was more of a one-on-one thing with me and them, because some of them would come to me, you know, privately, and, you know, say different things to me or tell me about different things that was going on in their family. A lot of times I wouldn't even ask. They would just tell me. And, you know, they would, you know, cry and you know, do this and do that. And then they would go right back to whatever they were doing. So, you know, again, some people say that they want change, but they don't want to do what it takes to change. It's a process, you know. You can't just say, I want to change, you know. Okay, so what is it going to take for me to change? So, you know, and it's not a quick process, you know. It's a lengthy process, because you have to get all the old stuff out of you in order to make room for the new. But anyway, going back to what was going on with me, and I didn't even realize it. There was a particular person on the job, you know, they ate real healthy, and you know, I would ask them, I said, why do you eat so healthy, you know, and you always, you know, they brought their lunch, their breakfast, their lunch, and it was just so, you know, strategic, and it just really motivated me to eat better and do better. And then they were telling me that they had dealt with a serious health condition, and that's what the reason they did what they did. I said, oh yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, me and this person became pretty, you know, close or whatever, and some of the other people didn't like that, because we were able to hold really good, you know, wholesome conversations and talk about, you know, the Lord, and talk about, you know, life's different things in life that we were dealing with together. And so she was about the only one that I really felt like kind of was on my level, so to speak. All of them we were all around the same age, but the rest of them didn't seem like they, you know, they just didn't act their age, basically, mentally. So anyway, my stomach started hurting. You know, I was just having some really like shooting pains in my stomach, and I couldn't understand. I would go home and tell my late husband. I said, gosh, I don't know what's going on with my stomach, but I don't remember having any stomach issues prior to this job. But you know, the pains would just be, sometimes they would be dull, and then some days they would be real sharp. But I would, you know, lessen up on trying, you know, what I ate that day, you know, just trying to self-remedy myself. That didn't work. And I mean, just, it seemed like every day, you know, the pains. And then sometimes I felt like I had to, you know, go to the bathroom, but I didn't have to do that. It was just a pain. It was just a pain in my side, in my stomach. And sometimes it was just gut wrenching. I couldn't even stand up. Sometimes it was hurting me so bad. And it was just mainly at work. You know, I would be feeling fine. Like, I can remember in my bathroom at home getting ready, and I feel fine, and I said, okay, you know, let me make sure I don't, you know, do anything to aggravate my stomach. And then as soon as I would get to work, it would start all over again. But the Holy Spirit revealed to me it wasn't my stomach, it wasn't me, it was evil spirits in that place. And so, you know, that's what was causing, that was the origin of what I was dealing with. And I even went to I made an appointment to go to a doctor, you know, just to get checked out. I remember I did this one day while I was at work, and I used my time to do that. And you know, the doctor said, well, you know, I can just give you this, and this. You know, I really don't see anything what's really going on with you. So they couldn't even find anything. But it wasn't to be found physically. It was spiritually. It was spiritually. So, you know, demons are real. You know, attacks are real. Evil attacks are real from the enemy. And I'm not claiming anything. I'm not giving the devil any glory. But what I'm saying, I'm bringing attention to what he does, you know, in our lives. And I was, you know, I wasn't, you know, in the Lord. I didn't have a relationship with him then. So I wasn't aware of what was going on. This was attacks coming against my body. And like I said, you know, the enemy, what the enemy tries to, what he intends for evil, God will make it for good. So, you know, I just kept on. They had put me on some medication, and the medication would help me for a little bit, and then it would flare back up again. So they said, I can't remember what they said, but they said, you have I can't remember what they called it, but anyway, they named it something, and they said that just take this medication and it'll go away, and this and that. And I thank God I have no more stomach pain. But it wasn't my stomach. It was evil spirits that I was around, that I was dealing with every day. And so, the enemy saw, okay, well, let me affect her in this way. Let me, and I don't even know what a lot of them were doing in their homes. Like I said, a lot of them they were doing ungodly things. They had ungodly characters. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know what they believed in. I don't know who they were praying to. I don't know what was going on. I don't even know what evil there was there. But all I do know is that it was attacking my body. It was attacking my stomach area. And like I said, I would leave there and I'd be like, why is my stomach hurting so bad? And like I said, this wasn't revealed to me till after I left that job, and along with other things. I was surrounded by some evil spirits and was not even aware of it. But God protected me every day while I was there for those 3 years. He protected me. He did. And I thank him every day for that. So like I said, what the enemy meant to take me out with, or to get me really, really sick, and to, cause me to be very ill, it didn't work. It didn't work, and it'll never work, because I'm in God's hands. And so, and we all are. But I thank the Lord for just watching over me and keeping me while I was there. Because like I said, and I'm not bragging about this, but the same people that you pray with and you pray, for, and you just, you're asking the Lord, you're going in on their behalf, or going to God on their behalf, and Lord bless them, Lord keep them, and I wasn't even thinking that they were doing anything evil against me. But again, the enemy will use people to come against you. When he sees that, you're trying to, I was trying to be a bright light, in a dark place, because that's what it felt like every day. But I was just trying to cheer them up. And like I said, a lot of times I would say little things. They would be talking about something just so down and so depressing, and I say something positive, and this is like I just said something awful. I could tell their spirits, they didn't like, those evil spirits didn't like that. And like I said, it's not the person, it's the evil spirit that they have allowed to enter and take over them. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. When people are acting out of character and acting mean towards you, and you're trying to figure out, well, that's not even that person's character. They've allowed the enemy to use them. The enemy is using them to come against you. That's what he's doing, point blank. But again, I was there trying to figure out, take this medicine and do this and do that. And like I said, it'll go away, and then the pain will flare right back up. And then sometimes I'll just be sitting there and I'm like, why is my stomach so, why is it so upset? And like I said, it wasn't to the point I needed to go to the restroom. It was just like I was nervous about something, or like I was, there was evil spirits. That's what it was. And that just bothered me, because I'm like, I don't, and like I said, it had gotten to the point where I had a habit, I would stop and get gas before I would go to work. Like the convenience store gas station was down the street from where we used to live. It's at the end of the street. So I would stop there a lot of times and, go in and get me like a, little healthy bar or something, a little sweet roll or something, and get me then I was drinking a lot of Coke. So I would get a Coke, or sometimes I get a Sprite or apple juice or something. But I was trying to not eat or drink too much, because I said, oh, I don't want my stomach to act up, while I'm at work for 8 hours. And so, lo and behold, it's still what, that's still what happened, and like I said, this wasn't going to be revealed to me until after I left the job. And the Lord just showed me a lot of things that was going on there that were not of him. And like I said, I'm the type of person that goes in and, into a territory, or goes into a environment, and I want to change. I want to change the environment. I want to be that change. I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be that change that I want to see. And I just really like those the people that I worked with, I thought they were all nice. They seemed like they were all nice, but again, we don't know what people are doing, and these are not only people that we work with, but it could be people in our family. We don't know what doors they have opened up, portals they have opened up to the enemy. I've said this before, and I keep saying it. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing in their houses. We don't know what, people have opened up portals, and they don't even realize they've opened up, the door for the enemy to come in and just take over their life, or to, do things in them, and then they work against, he's using them to work against other people. So, we have to be very mindful of what we watch on TV. We have to be very mindful of, these horoscopes, things like that. That's witchcraft. We have to be mindful of things, music that we're listening to. That's a way for the enemy to come in. We have to be mindful of things we have in our homes. We think something is cute and pretty that we buy at a store. Evil spirits could be attached to it. So pray over everything. Pray about everything, and be mindful, be alert. Everybody that you're around, ask the Lord to give you discernment, because like I said, we can't see it on the outside. This is spiritual. This is internally. So ask the Lord to give you that discernment, to let you know, when you I've been praying lately, Lord, keep me away from evil people and evil things. Keep me away from them. I don't even want to be in the same, area where they're at. Keep me away from them, And if I do have to come in contact with them, give me the words to say to them, because I'm not afraid of them. But just speak through me, so I can speak to them for you. So, because we're not supposed to run from darkness, but we don't want to entangle ourselves with it either. So again, please remember the scripture, 1 Corinthians 15:33. I'm going to read it again. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. So be mindful of who you are around, and who you are, fellowshipping with. And like I said, a lot of times it's not people on your job, it's people in your family. I can't stress that enough. It's people inside your family. It's your best friend. It could be your best friend. It could be your neighbor. It is not always somebody that's far away. It's people right in your circle that are they're attempting to come against you. And they're saying things, they're thinking things. And thinking is sometimes as well as saying, in some cases, because people they're wishing you bad. They may never say it out so you can hear it, but it was a thought that came into their mind. The enemy used them to think that thought. They didn't rebuke it. They didn't say, Lord, forgive me. They sort of kind of want it to happen, So that's evil. That's evil. But again, I just wanted to share this, what was placed in my spirit to share, that, sometimes we think that what goes on with us is, I don't know why this is happening to me, and I'm eating right. I'm not really eating anything bad. And then that was another thing. The doctor was asking me, what are you eating every day? And then she said, yeah, that doesn't sound like you're eating anything that's causing this. So even she was baffled. Something's in my eye. Even she was baffled. Even she was trying to figure out what's going on here, because what's going on? It was spiritual. And like I said, people you talk to and you're around and you're looking and trying to see, and a few of them that I worked with, my ex-coworkers, I did see. I didn't live with them. I didn't go home with them, but I did heard how they talked about different matters and how their stance was on a lot of things. So it didn't really surprise me, that the enemy was using a lot of them, because like I said, it was just, some of their beliefs, some of their, things that they would say, that were inappropriate. So, the evidence, it was there. The evidence was there. So I can't really say, and I'm not saying that I was blinded by what they were doing. I'm saying that I was not aware of what was going on with me was, an attack. That's what it was. It was definitely my eye is itching, y'all. I rebuked the enemy. My eye is just itching. But anyway, so yes, so the what was going on was an evil attack. It was an attack against me, because like I said, I was there. Lord had placed me there to be a shining bright light for him, and the enemy didn't like that. So he first, allowed them to come across like they were so nice and pleasant, and then he got tired of pretending, because that didn't work. And and then I'm gonna add this and I'll get off of here. But the other part of it was that I had made a promise within myself, and I had told my late husband, I said, I'm not gonna go into this new job telling anyone anything about my family life, because I had did that on previous jobs, and it always it just ended ugly. So I said, they're not gonna know anything about me. All they're gonna know is that I was married and that I had 4 children. That was all. I had made that promise within myself, and I said, I'm not gonna allow them to know anything about me. I'm not gonna volunteer information. What I tell them is what I want them to know. And so I noticed that became an issue with them, because what they did every day, they came in there and they told everything. I mean, they told deep, dark secrets. I mean, it was just out there. And some things, some things should be secret or private, unless you're using it for a testimony. But that's not what they were using it for, and it was just, a lot of inappropriate things that they had gone through and dealt with, and all this was just, talked about on the job. And I'm just like, So like I said, there was just a lot of things that management allowed to go on. They didn't see a problem with that. They called it, this is your work family, no, that's not what it was at all. It was a lot of, like I said, it was a lot of inappropriate things going on at that job. And I'm sure that's not the only job. But again, they didn't care for me. As the time started getting towards the end for me to leave there, I noticed they didn't care for me, and they didn't mind me knowing that they didn't care for me, because they would say little snide remarks against me or to me, and then they would try to clean it up and act as though they were just kidding or whatever. But I would catch on to it. But in their eyesight, I was being private, I was being secretive. But in actuality, I didn't want mess. I didn't want to deal with all that stuff that they were dealing with. And like I said, it gotten to where I would just have my mind strictly on working. And some days I go in and I wouldn't even, I wasn't being mean, but I just had my mind on just doing what I needed to do and leaving, going on my breaks, my lunch break, and going home so I could get back to my family. And, they would ask me from time to time, what do you do on the weekend? I say, I spend time with my family. I love my family. We love God, and we honor God, and we just like spending time together. And so, they didn't like that answer, because they like to party. They like to do, other things. And that just, like I said, when you're, God is using you to be a light for others, and it's not going to always be just always be nice and pretty. It's going to be a time, and I felt like that particular position, I had to take a stand, and I didn't take that stand where I was saying, hey, look at me, I'm standing for God. But it was a light. It was a light that was shining, and I felt like it shined within me and it shined outside of me. And the enemy inside of them, he was using them, because they seemed like they were nice people. But I'm not making excuses for them, because that means that they need to make some changes in their lives. They need to ask for forgiveness and repent of things that they're doing against God. But what I'm saying is that the enemy knew that I was a light there. He knew that. So he, like I said, he used them to come against me, but it didn't work. It did not work. So I just thank God for everything that he's allowed me to go through. I feel so much older than what I actually am. I'm 49, but I feel like I'm 69 because and it's not in a bad way, but I just feel like, you know, he's growing me up. He's grown me up. He's given me wisdom on a lot of things where as before I had no clue. But he's just revealing in this season, he's revealing so much to me and showing me things that I have gone through, and he's allowing me to learn. You know, there were teachable moments. You know, he's allowed me to learn from those things, so I won't make the same mistake again. So again, I pray that this video has encouraged you, has blessed you, has something I said that the Lord spoke through me to say has encouraged you, because we give him all the honor, the glory, and the praise. Thank you all for listening. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your day. Do be kind to everybody, and always give God all the honor, the glory, and the praise. And always remember, I love you, but God loves you so much more. Thank you for listening.